I'm doing something a little bit different because I'm still technically, I don't know which one will come first. I assume the Tinkerbell Disney Pixie Fairies will come out first. But I don't think I can show this front cover. Let me see if I can grab the others. Maybe. Yeah, I can. This one. It is called The Merman, and then it's Transformation, Acceptance, Color, Undersea, and Landfall. It is a guy-on-guy romance, and it also deals with mermaids, but I don't know much about it. It is by x.aratare. I have absolutely no clue. Let's read the back of the first book, shall we? Because I don't think I'll be able to show the front cover, because even though it shows people kissing, sometimes YouTube is weird about it. Like, really weird. Sometimes they will take a video down for it. Gabriel Braven, is it Braven or Braven, is destined for a great love, but he does not believe it. His parents had a storybook romance until a freak ocean storm robbed them of their lives and left him alone to be raised by his grandmother. With their deaths, Gabriel's adoration for the sea turned to fear, and his breathed in happily ever afters turned to dust. Gabriel vowed to never set foot in the ocean again and to never believe in love. Gabriel kept that promise until after his junior year of college, when he and his best friend Corey returned to the oceanside town where he lost his parents in order to help his grandmother. That was a long one. Gabriel's bitter fear of the water has only grown, along with his belief that it is destined to be along with his belief that it is his destiny to be forever alone. Me! Corey is determined to prove Gabriel wrong. It is his mission that summer for Gabriel to find love on the beach. And maybe do some swimming too. Yeah, because that's the point of the story. That's what I'm wanting. Wink, wink. Is his name Ocean? Stop, am I right? I don't know anything about this. I'm gonna laugh if his name is Ocean. I'm gonna go swim in the ocean. I'm gonna go meet at the ocean today. I'm gonna drink from the ocean. I'm gonna fuck the ocean. Hold on. Gabriel will settle for simply not reliving his parents' death every time he hears the rush and shush of the waves. Shush means shh, I guess. Both may get their wish as Gabriel discovers the hidden past of the Bravens and the sea sends someone amazing to his aid. Aw. Well, here's the thing about that. Again, this is guy on guy. If you guys want to read this yourselves, because I'm going to do a whole spoiler on this, go ahead. I don't remember how much I got these for. I know they weren't expensive. They were like under either or. I'm going to get started on this, but let me actually say this real quick. Because this book, this one in particular, I do know, is only 99 pages. Now, mind you, that leaves this much. What is it? It's because the author has multiple book series, and this one has book 2, which, how long is part of book 2? 11 pages, which for book 2, and they're for all of them. Let me just say this now. It's for all 5 of this. I do believe that this probably was Kindle Unlimited to where you get a sneak peek. This last one is 8 pages, somewhere around there. Actually, can we even see like the dates of when these were published on this one? Let's actually see. 2014. I have to close that because that was 2014. It didn't have a specific day. Book 2. Let's see. 2014. Maybe it was all at once and he or she, whoever. 2014. Oh, dear Lord. Is it all 2014? I'm going to be so happy. 2014. Oh, this one's tiny. What happened? There was no... This is 2015, so maybe near the end. Yeah, because hold on. Tiny font. Tiny font. Big boy font. Different. Why are they all different? I hate when they do that. Ugh. Makes me mad. Eee. But, anywho. So again, I assumed that this was all on Kindle Unlimited, and it was more than likely that you could get a sneak peek into the next series on Kindle Unlimited. I don't know. I don't read Kindle Unlimited. I don't have that. Or Nook. I don't have that either anymore. I haven't had Nook since I was in early middle school. So anyway, I'm going to start reading it. It's going to be 100 pages. I've been trying to actually get stuff going, and this is my introduction video. Do I know how this is going to be? No. But also, there better be some sexy in here, or I'm going to be very upset. Oh, you can't say it? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I got it for a good time. Not a long time. A good time, damn it. My parents sometimes watch these videos. I hope you're proud of me. No, honey, we're quite disappointed in you. Oh, Mother, it's like you're right next to... She wouldn't say that. She would totally say that. No, she wouldn't. My mother loves me. She won't after this video. Anyway, see you in a minute. Maybe. However long this is going to take me. Hopefully not over 9 years. Cut to next month where I finish this, or I come back and life is different. Like I have for these books. I'm just starting to read this, and I was like, oh, I just gotta open this thing. There's a big gap where this is. Nope. It goes into the crack of the spine for this particular side. And whoever did it didn't have it to where everything is supposed to be middle. It's all jolted over. But is it for everything? Yes. Is it for this one? Because I swear to Christ if it's for this one too. It is. Okay. Okay. Because I also found this out while looking at the last book. This is going to piss me off. If you're doing this to try and make more space for your book, don't bother. Like, don't even. Because this, for some reason, is smaller. I'd rather it be size 7 font and it still be like 100 and something pages. And even then, what the heck? Yeah, these are different because this has chapter 12 and then the other one actually has a title. And this one actually goes over because it's the last happy ending for now. Ooh. Oh. Ow. I feel like I'm gonna bitch the whole time at this. And I'm not even trying to bitch. It's just, I literally have to the whole entire thing. Why? Who did this? Who did this? The publisher? Did the publisher do that? Was this just like a, oh, we'll fix it in post? Is this what happens when you use Google Doc instead of Word Doc? I don't fucking know. Oh my god. I can use a coupon code and pay only 1 penny for a month. Based on the novel The Sea by x.aratare. Did I just order the sequel? So I just finished the Merman transformation. I really like it. It is really good. I didn't think I would. Or I would be like, come on, get on. Because it's 99 pages plus book 2, the first chapter of book 2, which this one is shorter. This one is like 91, 92 pages. And then we also get another book of x.aratare. I don't know how to still pronounce your name. It is really good. I will still give this probably an 8 out of 10, but there are grammatical issues, and I don't know if, I think there is a Kindle version. I don't know if the Kindle version has been fixed or not, but here's the story. The very beginning, we have, what is our main character's name? Gabriel. I've already forgotten these characters' names, but Gabriel at the time is like 7, like between 7 and 9, somewhere around there. Him, his mom, and his dad are going out to go on these boats, but they hear the fascinating words on these radios. Hey, don't go out to sea. There's a storm coming. But they're like, nah, our we'll let our 7-year-old kid here. Yeah, he wants to go out to sea. Yeah, we'll listen to him. Only go for an hour. It's fine. Storm comes, and Mom and Dad tragically die. We cut to years later, and Gabriel and Corey are 21 years old or 20-something. They're their junior year of college, and they head back to the area where the incident happened. And before they go to Grandma's place, because that's where Gabriel had been since his parents passed away. And he has a terrifying fear of water now, that 2 people are out in the middle of the ocean, and one of the guys ends up going under and basically almost drowning. And Gabriel jumps in, even though he's afraid of water, and saves both of them. And he basically helps this guy who was basically knocked unconscious. He's declared a hero, but he's like, I'm gonna get sick. I don't feel good. This shit, we ain't doing it no more. We're going to Granny's. And Corey's like, okay, cool. Also, Corey is described as looking like Santa Claus, but without the white hair. And I'm like, yeah, it's a beer belly. Because they're college students and they're drinking at Granny's. It's like all this is told to him or to her. And I think her name is Grace. Because they call her Granny G, but I think her actual name is Grace. And they go to Grandma's house, and they're basically having all this fun. Oh, but I forgot to tell you, before they go to Granny's, however, we have a fun little sex scene with a mystery merman. So that was fun. Does it lead to anything? Yeah. But at Granny seems to have a little love escapade going on with some guy named, what is his name again? Johnson Timms, who's like, because Granny's a councilwoman now, and I think he's either a construction worker or a councilman, something like that. Them two have a fling going on. And by the way, the grandpa of Gabriel had long passed, like since before he was born, so Granny's like, I got a romantic thing going on. Can you and Corey help me clean this place out? And they're like, okay. So Gabriel's got the task of going into the basement and trying to clean it out and basically get rid of anything that is not family-oriented, important, or neat that we may be able to use around the house. So I wish I had that in my place, because I still have that. He ends up finding 2 things. A diary and 3 things, technically. A box that's a jewelry box, and then a necklace that is shells and then like a little blue gem or whatever. And he starts wearing that. That comes important later. He opens the diary, and it's taken in the port of someone named Samuel and his wife Tabitha. Now, Samuel is a dickhead, and he basically had been abusing his wife to make it so that she will be an obedient little girl, obedient wife, and Tabitha had been escaping to this cave to meet a man, and this man happens to be a merman. A mer is what they also call him. Because the whole town, basically, mermaids, mermen, basically lived there, and they used to be friendly with the town. Doesn't seem to be a thing anymore. It seems to be a legend now. It's not too big.
That's what she said.
But Samuel doesn't really say if he's done anything. He just says that at one point he saw Tabitha with this man. Doesn't even realize it's a merman, but that the man was nude. And he's like, why is he nude? And I'm like, maybe because they probably have sex in that cave. And she ends up like going there clothed, but he's nude, waiting for her. And she gets unclothed. Kind of obvious, but I don't know. Intrigued, Gabriel goes to this cave and finds a giant mural, like talking of mermaids. And it's got a bunch of fish, and it's pretty cool. But as he's there for quite a long period of time, he realizes that water is getting into the cave. It's going dark. and he loses his phone, and he almost drowns. The only way he ends up getting out is he is saved by a man, and the same man that he could not see his face of, now he can, from his dream. Wow! That man's name is, what is his name? Cassius Neuron. Casillus. Cassius Neuron. And Cassius is pretty much just like, yo, me and you, we're Merman, and that necklace, whoever has done this to you pretty much has left you high and dry. What do they call them? Like, supposed to be your mate or working partner?
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
Tranche. Or tranche. I don't know how to pronounce that. Tranche or tranche? Gabriel's like, yeah, no, whoever gave me this was not mine. I found this. It was at my grandma's place. And Cassius is like, okay, I see. That makes sense. And then it's revealed that the Tabitha most likely had a kid who had a kid who had a kid, and then Gabriel was result where the Merman or the Merline finally showed up. It may have already shown up way before then, which I believe the mom was Mer, because during the whole beginning, the dad had either drowned or was already dead, but the mom and Gabriel were fine, and she went to go save the dad, and that was it. Also, their bodies were not found, so that's even more terrifying. But Gabriel pretty much says, no, not doing it, and Callus shows Gabriel, he's already transforming, that he's going to continue to transform no matter what. If you stay on land, you're going to die. Gabriel ends up running back home. Mind you, they can also telepathically communicate. So this is interesting. Because I thought Corey was like part of this as well. He's just more interested in anything. I think he kind of knows. Granny probably has told him, and Granny most likely knows too. Let me think. What's going to happen next? In the second one, because it's shorter, I think he's going to probably see more transformation changes. I don't think they're going to be severe. I think there's going to be, like, the webbing of the hands. He's going to be more sick. Like, he wants to drink a bunch of water. He wants to be in the water. Callus is probably going to be like, hey, you want to come into the ocean yet? And Gabriel's going to be like, fuck off. But, yeah, no. I think we're also probably going to see more diary entries from Samuel. And he's probably going to look in the basement some more. Which also, Corey was doing jack shit. He was supposed to be in the attic helping move stuff. And he got distracted by books. Which, this book as well, book 1, has a lot of grammatical errors and sayings that aren't, like, worded properly. There's also big boy words, which, fine, alright. But I think a lot of the time was spent on some bigger words than editing. But also, again, I don't know about the Kindle edition. You can kind of tell that this may have been the first series, which I actually really do like it. But at the same time, again, you get book 1 of another series, and then you get book 2. So I think, again, this probably was on Kindle, and then it was months later maybe added, because I think this may have been like a full year. I don't think that's gonna matter if the back, yeah, it's probably been a full year for this whole series. Like, they would do breaks at a time, which, unless it was like, I think it was this in the vampire series that they had going on, that maybe that's what they were doing, but I don't know. I am interested though in the other vampire series, because there's a lot of stuff in here. It's very good storytelling, but I do wish that there was more detailed of the area. At the same time, it's, if you can imagine Florida, there you go. Because I think, did they come from Maryland? No, I think it was always Florida. I don't remember. Maybe I'm making up stuff. I don't know. But either or, I'm going to book 2 because I'm really intrigued now. So, again, we only have 3 left, but I'm just really holding off on this one because I'm not ready. And also, these are seeming to be quicker reads. And again, I actually finished this in one day. Like, the next day that I had said I was gonna start it. I did. I finished it because I come home from work and I was like, I want to read now. Because this is a fast read considering how close to the line it is. It bothers me. I don't know if it was because it was a Google Doc instead of Word. I don't know. I don't have answers. Also, why is book 5 so different? Either or. It's going to bother me forever because no one is going to be able to answer me unless the author does. Then, hi. Also, why are you here? But also, hi. This is still a good story, though. Oh, yeah, I forgot he had black hair. I'm still imagining, like, a white-haired man. Also, how old is this merman? That's a great question. It is 21. He's legal. Book 2. Pink. The Acceptance. Dear Lord. Also, some reason, the eyes in this are weirdly, like, slit. I think they're supposed to be, like, I was gonna say snake or cat eyes, but I don't know. It's a choice. This is actually very fitting because I just got out the shower and so did Mr. Gabriel a few times, if you know what I mean. Oh, it won't stand. I bet you I could prop it up, but I'm not going to. So the book pretty much leaves off where we left off in the first one, and I slept on this a day, so I'm trying to trace back. So if I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. Gabriel rushes back home, and he's like, yeah, no, none of that happened. This is all a terrible dream. That's it. I hit my head on that cave too many times, and you know what? Not hearing, not seeing, not doing anything. And he hears Cassius the entire time, just like, it's very much happening, sweet cheeks. You gotta prepare yourself because you're gonna go into the water with me, big boy. And he's like, yeah, stop doing this, because he can telepathically talk to him. So that's even better. And an even better thing is that he can show him images of what he's seen. So Cassius will be like looking above, like staring up at the water where the moon or the stars or the setting sun will be, and he could send it to Gabriel, and then Gabriel's like, fuck. He also realizes that his eyes are kind of larger. Excuse you. We're talking about fish people here. He realizes, besides the eye thing, that he does have gills. And he's in the shower. Now, mind you, he's supposed to be meeting Grace's new potential boyfriend, Jonathan, I keep wanting to say Jim Jamborino. Johnson Timms, not Jonathan, Johnson Timms. During this whole ordeal of Cassius and Gabriel kind of fighting back and forth between, like, no, you want to go to the ocean. Like, come on, you want to go to the ocean. Gabriel's like, no, I'm not. You can't make me. It's kind of revealed that this journal now may be more important than anything. So Gabriel brings the journal down and gives it to Grandma and goes, ah! Well, now you have a cat in shot. But he pretty much hands the journal over to her and says, hey, I found this in the basement cleaning. What is this about? Like, who's Samuel? Who's Tabitha? That sort of thing. And Grandma looks over and she goes, Samuel. And Johnson goes, oh yeah, Samuel. You mean the guy that killed his wife, Tabitha? And everyone kind of goes. And he goes, oh yeah. Didn't you guys know about this? Your own family history? Your own family history? And everyone's kind of just like, Grace knew. Corey wouldn't have known, and Grace wasn't gonna tell Gabriel, which I can see why. I have some family members that I'm actually not allowed to know about. I accidentally found out that part of my family does not believe Canada exists and believes it's part of the U.S. that, like, kicks people that are, like, not, like, American enough up there. They believe in the flying spaghetti monster, and also they're just fucking weird. Like, that's not, like, weird, but it's like, look at the corner of your eye and you probably have to sleep with one eye open, kind of weird. Like, I found that out on an accident, and I went to school with one of the girls. So that's even worse that I found this out. It is found out, because I figured that this was the truth, that Samuel killed Tabitha, and that Cassius reveals that the person that Tabitha was seeing was a merman. His name was Aerosmith. Also, Johnson Timms is an archaeologist. I don't care enough. I just don't care about him. Some already like, yeah, he's the guy that's trying to find mermaids. Whatever. Also, the necklace around his neck is called a kalish. I don't know if I mentioned that. But, hey, where is this dude's name? Emerys? Aemrys.
You did it, John.
Amaris? I don't know how to pronounce that. But Tabitha, again, gotta remember, Tabitha was pregnant with his kid. So that's how it was passed down. We also find out that Grace has mer blood in her. So it was also pushed down to the dad, which also was passed down to Gabriel. But it's not strong enough in her, and neither was it in the dad, which... After everyone's kind of like, Johnson, you're a little fucking weird, they keep having their conversations, and Callis keeps trying to make it seem like, Gabriel, they're not talking to you. They're not talking to you. They know you're different. They're trying to make you feel left out. But us mermaids and mermen, we have a bond. We don't keep secrets. These humans keep secrets. And I'm like, dude, he's literally in a bad mood because you showed up. Number one, you showed up. And then he's by the ocean, which he's not ready to come back from. He nearly drowned. This is the second time he almost drowned. I think third time technically, but we're not counting the saving of the people. And then you show up. We're adding that to the fourth counter. And then, oh yeah, you showed up and now you're talking to him. But everyone's literally trying to be like, oh, are you okay, Gabriel? You just don't look well. You're kind of dissociating. Like, you should go to bed. Like, you just do not look well. They decide that next day that they're going to go out to either the library or someplace. I don't remember. It's kind of fuzzy for me. But they're going to go out the next day. And if Gabriel's up for it, like, they're all going. Gabriel's like, yeah, I'll be fine. He will not be fine. This is when Gabriel has lied. He tries to go to sleep, and he has a nightmare about the event that happened. And we find out that not only did his dad die falling, like, they were on a sailboat, and the sailboat that holds it up, it was not fully put up, and the dad fell on it and basically broke his neck. And I said, and Gabriel had to see how his dad and mom truly died. And I'm like, who the fuck gave this memory to this kid? He's 21 or 20 something. But who gave this memory to this kid? Because I'm not here for it. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to see it. I don't want to read about it. What is this kid? And it turns out it's through someone's point of view, and it's not Cassius, whatever, calcium. It's not through his eyes, and I think it's through Aerosmith. I'm not gonna remember his name. I apologize. I'm not. It's not a matter of being mean, but he's alive, by the way. But it does turn out that the mom was also a mer as well. So that's how our buddy Gabriel here became a merman. But both of them had the gene, and the mom, basically, the mom and the dad, those were soulmates. And she tried to save the dad. The dad was already dead. And when another large wave came, they both got tangled up in this line. And she pretty much sacrificed herself to save Gabriel. But in turn, like, there's a thing where tentacles have been talked about. We have seen the tentacles, but we have not done anything with the tentacles. Mermaid shit, am I right? She sacrificed every ounce of, like, her being to save Gabriel, and they basically die being wrapped in each other's brace, sadly. And Gabriel wakes up, and he had the entire time been trying to call Khalees, and Khalees finally, like, gets up out of the water and is there, And Gabriel's like, yeah, you said you were gonna be there for me. I knew I was gonna have this dream. You're a dickhead. And Khalees is like... So instead, they decide to go into the water, in the bathtub, and basically give each other hand jobs. That's pretty much it. Nobody... Gabriel does realize that, like, he's turning into a mer, and he has, like, gills on the side of him, and that both of them are fated to be with each other too. We learn that mer live for a long fucking time, and it's not a matter of like, oh, they die of a broken heart, which I assume they can, but here's the thing that they can die from. Not old age. They can also die from accidents, which that was added later on. But they can also die from, and again, during the entire time, Khalees is like, oh, you sure these people, they're not talking to you like that. They're not trying to add you into their conversation. And then they'll be like, Gabriel, honey, are you okay? You don't look well. And I'm like, everyone needs to shut up. Everyone needs to shut up. Unless we are killed by violence. So, and also because Samuel did kill Tabitha, guess what? The Murs killed Samuel by drowning him. And I'm like, he kind of deserved it anyway. The son sadly didn't get to make it, but Aerosmith is actually like 5,000 years old. We also get to learn something cool. Khalees is a prince. Because of course he is. Like it's like, oh no, shit, honey, he's a fucking... After sexy time in the bathroom, they fell asleep accidentally, and they had to sneak Khalees back to the ocean. They do so successfully, and when Gabriel is coming up to land, Johnson is there, and maybe he's seen a lot more. Also, Johnson is kind of mermaid crazy, so... Who could have thought the guy that looked into your grandma and her past... Which, he was kind of already like, hey, Gabriel, mermaids, and I'm right. And Gabriel was just like, yeah, the town legend, right? And he goes, that's what I meant. And I'm like, can you be more secretive, please? You're an archaeologist, bitch. Also, that was acceptance, because Gabriel did accept that he was turned into a merman too long. It only took maybe a dinner's worth of saying, hey, they're ignoring you. Hey, they're ignoring you. Hey, mermen won't do that. Mermaids won't do that. Hey, they're ignoring you. And then Gabriel just going, they're not, but, you're kind of hot. And I'm gay. This one is Collar. Collar what? I assume in book 3, we are going to have a couple of things. I think we're going to have us go to the archaeology sites. I think we're gonna go see mermaid shit, okay? And then it's gonna be hinting at these tentacle monster things. Yay. Because we're down to... Oh, I didn't add this part in. But Gabriel has technically 4 days before he's stuck in the ocean. And now we're on day 3, technically. And also, we're supposed to be going swimming together. Which I'm like, wouldn't that speed up the transformation more? And they're like, no, we're going to be in the shallow area. And I'm like, okay, I guess. So I think book 3 is essentially going to be about, besides swimming, we're going to know some more mermaid lore. And we may meet Aerosmith. Which I think Gabriel should probably start making a thing about, hey guys, I'm going to be a merman. Bye, I'm going to leave the ocean now. I think he is going to tell Grace and Corey. And not just write it down. And then he's going to leave. They're going to try and maybe convince him to stay. But then they're going to let him go. He could still come back. That's the thing. He can still come back. No one said he couldn't. I don't know. That's all I got. Book 2 was an event for being the shortest one. Because it was mostly just like, your family says they don't love you. And then Gabriel was just looking around like, nope, they clearly do. And it was immediately like a night's worth of being terrified and then waking up to Khalees being right there. And he's like, oh, hey, Edward Cullen, how's it going? keep forgetting that these have titles because book 2 was Acceptance. Now this is The Caller. We leave off where Johnson was kind of like, hey, what you doing out here? And Gabriel's like, nothing, I'm going inside. Oh, it smells like Grace is making pancakes. Delicioso. Okay, bye. And Johnson, kind of stays out there for quite a bit, kind of realizing that he probably did see Cassius. And in this fear of being realized that, hey, I think he saw Cassius and him talking, he kind of shuts the communication off between the two, which he doesn't mean to, but he did it regardless. Johnson very much probably knows about them being mermaids and mermans being out there, so that's done. Like, that's already out on the table. He tells us, because he used to be in the military, which I completely forgot about, that there was a man named, was it Cade? Hold on, let's find out his name. They threw out his name! Yeah, it's Kane. Okay, because at first I was like, was it Kane? Kane and a bunch of them were at this military base, and Kane heard the mermaid's music and basically destroyed everything, saying, you can't listen to this, yada, yada, yada. He had mermaid blood in him. And later on, everyone, including Kane, was gone, and it looked like the whole place had been destroyed. You'll find out later on what happened. So we have a fun little masturbation scene later on with Gabriel and Cassius after everything is all well and done. And also, for whatever reason, poor Corey comes and realizes, hey, what you doing there? I thought you were gonna rest for a bit. Yeah, rest, he means masturbation. Either way, it was weird. Gets in the shower, and Johnson is gonna meet them there. They arrive at the temple, and they're like, wow, like, this thing does not look like it should be here. It just kind of looks like it's very much like still not a lot is found, but it's on the beach, but it's like buried sort of above and below at the same time. And Cassius is like, yeah, this thing is not supposed to be here. And my first thought was either someone threw it here, they built it and moved it, or I don't know, it just, like, maybe it was underwater at one point, the water got pulled back, I don't fucking know. But Gabriel feels this pull, and as they continue on up, because they have to go up to see the inner sanctuary, and Johnson is kind of like, Gabriel, you should go inside first, and Gabriel's like, I don't know this fucking place. Why would I know this place at all? And Johnson is like, you should go inside first. And Gabriel's like, fine, I'll go inside first. Fucking weirdo. And he goes inside, and basically it's pretty small compared to, like, everything else that they've seen in this building. And mind you, as well, there are students supposed to be here. We don't really see them, but we do meet Grace. And Grace, as well, knows about mermaids too, so that was fun. When Gabriel gets inside, the place seems to be in the inner sanctuary seems to be really smaller than everything else. And even Johnson's like, you noticed it too, didn't you, Gabriel, that this place is 20 feet smaller than what it's supposed to be? And Gabriel's like, do I look like I know what this place is supposed to be? The only thing that's in this, besides like the stone that is kind of illuminating, and they kind of put it down to being the light, is that there's a skeleton or a pile of bones in the corner, and there's a warning that pretty much is like, hey, this is bad juju. Do not touch and do not do anything else with it. Mind you, Johnson has ignored this warning. I think it's Somalian that they say this is, but it's Native American bones. So the words start to come off of the wall, and Gabriel is taken to the past. And what basically happens is the Native American chief called upon the Mers to help save them from famine and drought. And they do, but for a price. And the price is basically to be mates with them. And it seems all cool and fine because they're pretty and they're mythical creatures and they help them. But later on, it turns out that they're impregnating the humans, and that these mer children are having to go into the ocean as soon as, like, the change is happening, leaving their human parent, like, away forever. Like, that's it. Goodbye, that sort of thing, which that's very shitty. Which the kids and the other parent could come back, but it doesn't seem like they are. It seems like they're going back to the Mer Kingdom and never coming back to land. This is also where one of the children of the chief, no, I think it was just one of the Mer children, was supposed to go with the mother. And the dad had taken her basically away, and she dies. This Mer child dies because he doesn't want to basically leave his daughter, and the mom of that child comes and he kills her because it's her fault. Like, everything about this is wrong. They're trying to, like, take them away. They're using them. So a war breaks out. And again, like, we get back and forth point of views of, like, Gabriel seeing one portion and then hearing the story from Grace being told, like, Grace is telling the story to Corey, then another flashback, then back to the present, and then back to this flashback. And in this war, it's just violence. Everyone is, like, killing these Mers. These Mers are trying to kill the Native Americans. And one person in particular, and it's through Gabriel's point of view that he's doing this. He goes into the temple to call upon whatever has been calling him this entire time. He opens it up to an inner sanctuary. And when he comes back, Cassius basically warns him, hey, do not touch the statue. It's Cthulhu. And I literally went, yeah, it had to fucking be Cthulhu. My God. I laughed so hard when I heard it was Cthulhu. I was like, oh my God. Miles high in tentacles? Yep, that's Cthulhu, all right. We come to the present where Grace and Corey are very shocked that he was able to open this, and they see the statue. And Johnson's just like, oh, it took us weeks to open this, and yet for you, it takes you only like a few minutes. And I'm like, fuck you, Johnson, fuck you. But either or. Gabriel pretty much nearly falls over, and he's like, I gotta go now. Like, I gotta go. And Grace and Corey help him out, but Grace kind of believes that he's to be a merman too because his eyes have changed. Which he doesn't know, but he kind of believes it to be. And Corey and Gabriel drive back to the beach where Cassius basically runs up to him and he's like, oh my God, like, you're okay, I need to get you to the ocean. And Gabriel's just like, Corey, this is Cassius. And then that's where it ended. It's such a dramatic, like, oh my God, you're in so much pain, why do you want to go to the ocean? Oh my God, we're gonna meet your boyfriend, oh my God, oh my God. It's a man in just a loincloth, what the? Yeah, and they also don't look like mermaids, but also. He also does see that he has the gills on the side of him. So that's all we have right now. We have Undersea. And this one is like 150. But that's also because, again, I reiterate, these are like this. Honestly, if they were bigger font, I would say maybe 130. Because every single one of these are normal font and they're like 100 and something. I also looked to see about the other vampire one, like the newer one that x.aratare has out, and they go between 130, I think, to 210 pages, which that's not too far off, but they're also $25 a pop, and I got these for not that. So yeah, there was a lot of just info dump in this one, which I would assumed to have been, considering it is the third book and it's more describing this sanctuary and this temple. But it doesn't also describe, like, the mermaids still come up sometimes, so they haven't cut all ties, but also I also forgot to mention Gabriel is a caller, which basically means they call upon certain creatures in certain situations, and Gabriel can call Cthulhu. which would have been bad because when he was going to call Cthulhu was actually in this event of it's not real, it's all in the past. They called Cthulhu once to basically kill everyone and stop this battle. Which then again, which I don't know why the elders didn't want to tell him, because they're gonna be bringing back Gabriel anyway, so why not just say? And also the elders can see visions, which I'm like, okay, like whatever. So, Undersea, what's gonna happen in this one? How short is this one? What do you think oh, it's 101. So this one was 113, 108 something. That's not that bad. Oh god, I just read the last bit. We're talking about Cthulhu. Okay, god dang it. So I think what's gonna happen is this. Stuff's gonna be interlogged with talking to Cassius, but then also we're gonna talk to Grace, and it's gonna be revealed that he's a Mer. Both of them are Mers, and they're gonna be freaking out about it, but also they're gonna be like, well, you promised to come back, right? And he goes, yeah, and then Cassius is like, and I think Johnson is probably either gonna follow them, or he's gonna touch the statue and call Cthulhu or something like that. Why is it gotta be Cthulhu? I don't fucking know. I mean, hey, what are you gonna do? Which I still think is funny. It's like, guys, don't touch the statue, it's Cthulhu! And then everyone's like, what? You weren't gonna tell us now? What the hell? But either way, this is just a guess. Actually, let's see. More transformation issues. How fun. We also still have 3 days. So, and to be fair, how are we gonna get this statue? Or just destroy this place in general? Which even then, Cthulhu was trying to call Gabriel, so it's like, what do you want? What do you mean by that? What do you want? So, Undersea. For some reason, and again, I think, yeah, this one has 2014. You're going to be able to see it better this way. I think this one says 2014, so I think this is way, way, way beforehand, but I don't know what months these were all broken out to, because this one basically kind of reiterates, oh, Cassius is the Prince of Neuron, the Mer Kingdom, and Gabriel Braven is part Merman. Like, we start repeating stuff from book 1, which I think book 2 and 3 only did little snippets. This one gave, like, full remembered descriptions of, like, last time on Dragon Ball Z, that type of shit. Hello. Leo. It's raining. He doesn't know what to do right now. He's a little afraid. Hey, Grandma's hiding. You can go hide, too. He's like, no, Sissy, you're in here. But we leave off with Corey meeting Cassius and then making a plan to essentially take the Cthulhu statue and bring it down to where his other temple is. Seems like a good idea. Issue is, if we don't recall that anyone who touches the statue feels like shit or dies or goes crazy. We meet someone later on like that. Corey decides, hey, I'll try and sneak out the place and see if we'll be able to get it, because Gabriel's not allowed to touch it because he could call Cthulhu, which, okay, granted. And then it would be Cassius and Corey to bring it down, which I'm like, I don't know about that one. Which, I don't think they ever thought about Greta helping as well. Again, I don't know for sure why not, but also, they don't know if they can trust her, but she kind of is trustworthy, so it's a mixed bag. We then, because Corey leaves. Mind you, I'm going to say this now. There's a scene where Cassius gets out of the water to show Corey that he's part merman and that he needs to be, like, to help him get better is to be in the water. And he just takes off his pants and underwear and goes, ha! And it's like, okay, naked man on the beach. And Corey's just like, nice. And I'm like, are you sure you're the straight one here? Well, actually, I don't know, but what the fuck is going on here? Like, you're too okay with seeing your buddy naked. Like, just a little too close. Like, too okay seeing your buddy naked here. And Gabriel gets better. And Corey heads off to try and look off at the sanctuary because Johnson may be there all day. And Grace, they plan to also tell Grace later about this merman thing. But she's at a council meeting, so she'll be there later. And Johnson will be there, so that's the best part about this. Corey leaves and goes down to the sanctuary, while Cassius and Gabriel go into the water and essentially like have this field day of internalizing what the place looks like. And to sum up what it looks like tower upon tower upon tower upon tower. Then you'll have like coral slash this large garden. There's a bridge that basically connects one place to another. That basically is how it gets all its energy and how it stays. It's by Mermagic. It's not really explained besides just this bridge helps everything get its nutrients, and it's been like this for a while, which, okay. And we also find out that every 1,000 years is when a new king and queen come along. And also, yes, 2 queens, 2 kings, blah, 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 blah. We do see this place, and it's really kind of lackluster. We don't see anyone, really. It's mostly, hey, this tower looks like it's glowing iridescent red. This one looks like it's opal. This one looks like it's translucent, that sort of thing. Even the king and queen's like place, it's really lackluster. It's bigger towers, and they all look like they're connected. We don't see the king or queen, Cassius's parents. We do see Aerosmith, though. Again, I don't remember how to pronounce his name. And basically, Gabriel called him unintentionally, and they get to meet. It's a really happy... Hi, how are you? It's a really happy moment, considering that it's the first time, like, great-great-grandpa is meeting, and he's really happy that Tabitha's bloodline still continued, that even though he never got to see his child, that he gets to see, like, his grandchild, and they're really happy about that. Later on, like, Gabriel and Cassius fuck, which, happy moment, oh my god, who cares? But while asleep, Cthulhu contacts Gabriel and tells Gabriel, hey, I know what you're trying to do, and you will call me later on. There's no matter of fact of like, hey, you bringing that statue down here, you will call me, no matter what. And then that's it. And he can't tell Cassius his new information, because again, I think Cthulhu just kind of blocked that shit out. Cassius and Gabriel get back home, and Corey's arriving, and Corey is not alone. He brought Greta, and he brought, what is this other guy's name? They talk about him a little bit in the first book, but not to a point, like a lot. His name is Henry, and Henry had been more affected than anyone else by the Cthulhu statue, and essentially, he's basically a person who gives him information that says, hey, this is what's happened to me. You will call Cthulhu, and him and Johnson will fight to the death. And in this time, this part of Florida, lots of people are going to die. You will call him no matter what. You cannot, even if you get the statue out, you will kill him. And you will kill so many other people. And I'm just like, Cthulhu, I know you want people to, like, be scared of you. And also to be like, we're going to destroy the planet. And Johnson wants to do it because he wants to destroy the planet. Or he wants to kill Cthulhu. But at the same time, you're not going to kill him. We can't even lock him away. And even then, I think in the long run, Gabriel just has to kind of not think about Cthulhu. But he also gets in his mind to be like, hey, I'm still watching you. I will always watch you. But at the same time, I'm like, why don't we just, like, push him somewhere else? No, well, that's what they're trying to do. But what they should do is just kill Johnson. Like, that's all they need to do is kill Johnson. Oh, no, Greta's sad, or Grace is sad. Oh, well, he died terribly. The mermaids and mermans could just come and kill him. Like, that's it. Like, while Gabriel's away or asleep, they just go and, like, kill him. Like, Aerosmith comes and kills him. I would not be surprised if he's related to Samuel. I would not doubt that one bit. Hi! This one, I have more questions than anything, because it's like, the descriptions of this place are really kind of boring. And that's kind of sad to say because we have all these beautiful plants. We have all these buildings that are different looking, but they all kind of sound the same. Like, they're made of stone that glows. They're made of, like, as soon as you get close to them, they illuminate. We don't really see any mermaids or mermen, so it's like this place is kind of empty, and it's mostly in Callus's head because Gabriel's still not ready to go out there, and I think it's like a day's worth of travel or something like that. But I'm gonna kind of guess about Landfall, which has the tiny font. Also, this one, I have to find it. It was page 70 something. Because I already said before that the pages go really towards the spine in the middle of it. 77 and 78. I know it's going to show like smexy stuff, but it goes in between the cracks of the book. Never mind, I'm a fucking liar. I just pulled it apart. It's glued. I pulled it apart, even though I could read it just perfectly fine. Yippee for me, I guess. But there's also a lot of just words that kind of like sentences that weren't corrected. It didn't really make sense. Also, I never did say if I talked about the place that they're from. It's Emerals. That's the place of like the Mer Kingdom is. Also, Cthulhu answers. He'll be like, waiting for you. Now you call and I answer. He's emphasizing certain things, like on purpose, like he's got his own open mic shit. So that's always fun. He felt the tentacle that was fixed so snugly around him tug. And then that's it. Like, that's the end of the sentence. And I'm like, tug what? Tug what? And it's just like tug nothing. It's not like it pulled on him. It was a mental tug. It's just like tug. That's it. And I'm like, okay. Again, some of this is, and also again, just being weirdly open to just being like, oh, my buddy's nude. Okay. But Gabriel, Corey is very emotional with this, but he is very much like happy for Gabriel, but also it's like, also we get another fact that Gabriel may be able to communicate with Grace and Corey in the water, like mind, like through mind, and I'm like, just say this man can do everything and anything because he's a caller. But Landfall. Let me guess. I'm gonna guess here. I'm gonna guess because this is 150. Yeah, 150. Not bad. I think that Cthulhu's not gonna come up. I think he's gonna use people to try and fight at first, and like something's gonna happen to Johnson. Someone's gonna kill Johnson. And they get to tell Grace what's happening to him, or to Gabriel. And they get the statue. Essentially, Gabriel has to try and cure everyone who's been affected by it. And he ends up, what's the word I'm looking for? In doing so, it makes him sicker, but also it makes him able to control the thoughts of bringing Cthulhu towards him. And instead, he basically becomes like a part of Cthulhu where if he's ever needed, he will come up on land and he can never go back up, which that would be sort of interesting. Like, he is the being that's called now before Cthulhu is actually called. Johnson dies or is like beaten to the point where he doesn't remember that. And I think Corey is put underneath that. Greta's put underneath the spell of Cthulhu. Henry probably dies. I think Henry dies, which he's already, like, so touched by Cthulhu anyway. I think we're not going to have, like, a true battle. I think a bunch of, like, the mermaids are going to touch the statue, bring it down, and then they're all going to have to be separated from everyone until they're okay again. It's going to sound bad, but it's not going to be as bad, and the big battle is going to be, like done and over with, that sort of thing. I'm not too sure because, again, this is the last book. This is the biggest one. And I still believe that these books should have probably been 2 books. I still think these should have been like 2 big books, like of like 200 to 250 pages each. Which again, like all of these, and a lot of it is recapping, which I think these were like months apart, because if one of them is 2014, in book 4 is recapping, I still think it was probably like a long minute. Because like I could get book 2. Maybe even book 3. But book 4, I'm like, I don't need a recap. Unless it's been like too long. The Hunger Games is a good one. Like from Songbirds and Ballads, that book, to the first Hunger Game. Yeah, maybe. Like you most definitely. Or, what is it? Graceling and Sea Sparrow? You probably would that one too. Just anyone that has like a big gap. Also, Cassius and Gabriel say I love you to each other. They have known each other for 2 days. 2. Edward and Bella maybe a month. And 50 Shades of Grey was a week. But also, it is this weird fated thing. What was it? I can't bring it out. It's Heat X Beat. Where they had known each other and they grew with each other. And it's a span of like a few months to like maybe a year tops. To where they're like, I love you. And then same with like Love is an Illusion. It took I forget Blondie's name. It took him a long time to even say I love you. But the alpha really loved him. Like pretty much like just trying to hate-love relationship. Like it's very human. Very human. And this one it's just like, when I first saw you, I knew it was love at first sight. Also, we're meant to be. We're fated partners. Yes. Say Leo over here has a girlfriend who's actually sleeping like there. She's 12. He is 4. I'm old enough to drink and drive, bitch. But anyway, I'm still just like, because the more I go on with this series, the more it's not even a matter of me. It's me realizing, oh, I'm sick and I'm trying to recover from being sick. My my voice went out again. But that being said, this is the last of it, and I'm still on Tink North of Neverland, which you can tell I really like this series. But I'm still just like, we gotta keep pushing. We gotta keep pushing. Because I'm trying to read this like every day to get it done and over with. That's what I need to do with these Tinkerbell books. But I'm also like, do you hear the rain? Yeah. Go hide. Go hide, Bubba. No. He's a good boy. Little do you know, this man screams all the fucking time. He goes, ah, ah, ah. Yeah, he screams all the time. Excuse me? 1 day left? This is the blurb that's on the back. What? No, he doesn't. He has 3. He has 3. What do you mean? They didn't stay underwater, like, all day. Like, what are you talking about? What? That doesn't make... What? Second time I'm recording this. Also, I have laundry going, so don't mind it. Because I have shit to do. But Landfall, the last book in the Merman series, which I'm going to read this for the back because this kind of answers a lot of things that I did not know about. And this is a note from the author. I sincerely hope that you have enjoyed reading the series as much as I have had writing it. Some of you may know that I wrote mostly for a serial site, raidtheregion.com, adding about 75k words a month, every month. The Merman series started a serial story there called The Sea. With the experience of writing The Sea and members' comments, the Merman series was born. So if you're looking for more stories, that you can find a ton there. Thank you for reading, and I hope to hear from you in the reviews or at the site. So there's that. So that's where at the beginning I was like, wait, there's another one? So I thought there was a sequel, or it was like another story, and this is like 2 other characters that they needed to go more indulge in, but no. So that helps me quite a bit. So this one leads off. I don't think I've ever talked about Henry too much. Henry has been affected by Cthulhu's statue to where he basically says shit, but he knows he's like not mentally okay, but then there'll be times where he's like, I'm not crazy, you're crazy, like how Johnson is. But you'll get to see why he's pretty important later on. The plan essentially is in motion here, where it's broken down to this. Greta, Robert, who I never really talk about, he's not really added to, and Hunter is taken to wherever. So Greta, Robert, and Corey are to go into the temple and kind of psych out the area. And Khalees is going to meet Corey at the cave where we originally saw like all these mermaid drawings. And they're going to meet there. They're going to take the statue there, and then they're going to take it to Cthulhu's temple and make it disappear forever. Sounds like an easy plan. Wouldn't you know it, it doesn't actually go well. This book, for some reason, decides instead of 3 days left, it now has 1. Which I don't get, because last book we went and had a visual representation of the castle, which was very bare. Which that is one thing I will say is missing, is that for a castle and the area where Mer lived, there's no one described swimming around or anything like that. Which that's very much a kind of shocking thing, and I don't know if it's just Khalees is just trying to show Gabriel, and then later on we get to see the actual place, but we don't later on in this book. Which I'm sure there will be others, but from what I can tell, there is not. And I did buy the other series, which I said I wasn't, but I did. I actually got a good discount off. So we end up going to try and do with that plan. But before we can do any of that, got to get Gabriel into the ocean and far away from the statue, because he cannot come, but he needs to be in the water so that way he's prepared if anything goes wrong. Wouldn't you know it, things went wrong. They had found out that the cave... Johnson had stopped them. The cave, he knew about it, and he ends up basically seeing that Corey ends up hurting his legs, twisting his ankle, and Khalees is shot with a tranquilizer dart. He starts to go over there. He goes into the water to try and escape from Johnson getting a hold of him. He goes into the mind of Aerosmith and is like, hey, how long you got till you're here? And Aerosmith is like, I got another day, like, what do you need? And he was like, well, things aren't going right here. But Aerosmith is like, well, I'm far away, I believe in you. And this, I guess, gives Gabriel the will to be like, okay, I got this, I have a great plan. And the plan is basically, get Johnson out onto sea so Cthulhu can kill him, and then that's it. Like, everything's said and done. There is nothing to worry about. Not as easy as said to be. When he gets there, Johnson is waiting for him, and he essentially keeps trying to hit on him a little bit, which wasn't really shown, which is also a big, like, red flag for him, and everyone's just like, But he does manage to convince Johnson that he can call Cthulhu, and we can finish this for all if we're out on the sea. What Johnson doesn't get to say is that he's bringing some special items with him and 2 extra people. These 2 extra people have names, but they do not matter whatsoever. They go out to sea. Johnson uses these orbs in order to stop Cthulhu from killing the 2 other boatmen, and Johnson is pretty much not affected, but he's affected by the statue, but he's not affected by his Cthulhu's cries. And what ends up happening is, because he can no longer get to Gabriel or Johnson or anyone else, that he decides to go towards Florida, the East Coast. Gabriel grabs hold of one of the orbs, jumps into the water, and that's where it all basically ends. That's it. That's how everything's going to go. And also, if you're wondering what Johnson's plan was to basically call Cthulhu and kill him. He tried to, but that didn't succeed, because these orbs are filled with magic, but like they're, I guess, kind of remind you like marbles, how some of them have like weird metals that have like these spiral colors. Johnson dies, and same with those other 2. We cut to where he goes back and rescues Khalees and everyone else, unties them. We then meet, what is their name? Dr. Marston. Dr. Marston is the head leader of the Next Society. And the Next Society is basically knows about MERS and everything like that. And they're trying to basically bring peace so that way everyone is cool. No one's trying to fight each other, which is a great plan until you realize, hey, you could have stopped Dr. Johnson. You could have stopped Johnson, but you didn't. So here we are. They basically are like, okay, we'll do these things. We'll all go home. Tomorrow, the next day, we'll end up seeing Gabriel off, and then that's that. Come home later on that night. where poor Grace, the grandmother, is in the dark about everything. She comes home to three other students, and Gabriel with a broken ankle, and her grandson's not there. Grandson comes out and introduces Khalees. She then takes this really well that she not only is part mer, but she can also now hear Gabriel's thoughts, and like they can telepathically communicate. Same with Corey, because Gabriel's power has gotten stronger as a caller. Gabriel and Khalees go back into the water, and they decide to sleep in the water before having sexy time. And they are awoken to Aerosmith waking them up. And this is a big thing because he is seeing Tabitha's like ancestral line continue on. He meets Grace. He's very sad because he's like, you were a mer, but you weren't fully mer to be able to come with me, and you won't be able to live as long, but I would like to still see you and communicate with you. And she says, yes, I like that very much. She also is told about Johnson and how Johnson is dead and how he wanted to kill a lot of people. She's upset about that, but she's more upset that she brought him here. But it's also like, you had no clue, so you're fine. Like, no one is saying you're in the wrong for this. As slowly time goes on, Gabriel's getting weaker, and they have to bring him back into the water. But here comes Greta and Robert, who say Hunter is no longer at his apartment. He's gone, and the statue is gone. The statue of Cthulhu. And they're like, where the fuck is he now? They're just basically like, we don't know. They won't be able to know because he could be long gone from here, and they don't know. It's later told to us that he's like 8 hours away with the statue, and that he's underneath Cthulhu's control. That is like the epilogue. But we don't really get time to really emote to that because Gabriel's got to go with Khalees and with Aerosmith, and they all end up going back to the Mer Kingdom. There's nothing like there's only the epilogue of Hunter kind of being like still underneath the control, but he's basically, his role now is that he gets life to stay alive and possibly power. He is basically taking the statue to cause more chaos. But while doing so, what is their name? Dr. Marston. Dr. Marston basically tells Corey, hey, we think you'll be a good fit to join in with us in the Mesotonics. And he does agree, but also this means that he gets magic. But even then, like, he was able to, Gabriel, and Granny are all able to now telepathically communicate with Gabriel's help. So that's very helpful, but also it's like he doesn't have to go back to the college where Gabriel was going to be, and so that will help him tremendously. And he agrees to go to the school. And again, magic. The only thing we really see from this Mesotonic place, from the next society, is a magic rope and these magic orbs, but they're not really explained. And I assume for Cthulhu, it is something so powerful and light, and it was supposed to bring him back to the underworld, which it only just made the place dark, which even then, we didn't really see much of anything else. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The story for this part dragged on quite a bit, especially because it's supposed to be a get in, get out situation, which again, wasn't really. I don't know why one day was taken off. And I don't think I really talked about the House of Nerion and the House of Lias, which they're important, but they're not. So it's like, we never get to see the king or queen, or even like Khalees's grandparents. It feels so small, even though it's supposed to be like vast, and there's supposed to be quite a bit of murs. Because Johnson's like, they're controlling you, and it's like, not really. He kind of has to come here because otherwise he will, die. And to be fair, thinking back on it, actually, Khalees kind of did. Gabriel had to accept that he was changing, or else. We also find this out, and it's through Aerosmith in their interaction, that Aerosmith kind of is a spy. I say kind of because it's just more so of he knows things by your body language, your attitude, that sort of thing. And he accidentally makes Khalees reveal that he wants to marry Gabriel. If you must know, Gabriel and Khalees known each other for 3 days. Edward and Bella knew each other for a couple of months. I'd say like they were in school for a minute, and they officially got married after she graduated high school. So it had been like a few years. 50 Shades was a few months before they got married. Even then, the honeymoon was shit. So that's all I can compare them to. But my God, that's a little rushing. I can't really compare this to any other story at the top of my head, because all the ones that like I'm seeing over here on my bookshelves, it's like that one doesn't have a marriage. The marriage for that one is like, you don't really know. That's years later. I don't believe Red, White, and Royal Blue really has one. Heaven's Official Blessing doesn't really have one. Even then, it's like, same with like a demonic cultivization. They don't really have a wedding. It's just in order to avoid being captured, they have to do a wedding. No, it was the husky. Yeah, it was the husky in his white cat shoes, and they have to do a marriage in order to trick these demons or these ghosts. So that's where I know that from. Even then, some of them, like 800 years. Another was, like, going back in time. So, I don't know how far that one was. But, yeah. I still get this story in 8. And I did find out that this one was published in 2015. The others were 2014, 2013, I do recall. Because I know the one had the 2014 cover or signature. But, and I do love Corey. Corey is always, like, a good best friend. I love his style of just being in neon, and he never wears anything dark. It compares with Gabriel, who's a sad baby boy. And then we got the happy-go-lucky Corey. I did like Grandma. Johnson was always going to be the villain. You could always tell. Khalees still rubs me the wrong way, just for how at the beginning it was, but it was very much like you're going to be with him anyway. It does not matter. I did like the Mer stuff, but I was also thinking like there's gonna be tales involved, but also I guess it wouldn't really matter. And again, this place is very empty for supposedly having people. We don't get to see a lot or hear a lot about them, besides just rumors that they used to be more around, but now they're not because of what happened so long ago. Also, on page 40 in my book, this is what happened in mine. If I kept paddling through the house in the dark, worrying about what could happen at the settlement, I'll drive myself crazy. An idea suddenly struck him. I know what I'll do. I gather all the things I found from Samantha Braden, including her husband's journal, and get them ready for Grandma. They're the beginning of my story, too. In a way, Grandma will want them. It's not Samantha. We don't know anyone who is named Samantha. It is Tabitha and Samuel. And even then, Gabriel's mom is Kat or Kathleen, and I forget the dad's name, but that's not them. So, I don't know who that is. We don't know any other relatives of Grace's besides Samuel and Tabitha. And Aerosmith doesn't, I don't think, know any others besides Tabitha, Samuel, and his son, and then now Grace and Gabriel. I would really like if there was like a little sequel to show how he's doing years later, and it just shows that Gabriel has adjusted very well. It's been like a year or two, and he's kind of like pushing the envelope of, am I okay to go on land? Nope, okay, back down, but he's also a little scared. So that's kind of where I am right now. I still get the story in 8. I also, thinking back on it, why they needed to recap it, but I also realized, it's probably been a few years, but at the same time, most people probably didn't even know it was on Ray the Region unless they specifically read the back of this. I am very intrigued to see what goes on if this ever gets continued. But again, I do have the newest vampire one, so that's going to be an interesting one to read. $25. But the next story, which will most likely be after the Tinkerbell one, is one that, I will have to say this, I've been wanting to reread for quite some time. I remember reading it in middle school. The side story where the best friend / enemy character got a side story, and if you could not find any of those books, you are not alone. Book 3 is probably the hardest one to find, and it is $60. I got it for $25. I'm very happy with that. I actually have all of these books, one of which happens to be in hardcover. And what is in this? Wow, it's so shiny. This is all shiny, which I only have one of these in hardback, so that's nice. I was gonna show you that ninth grade book, but that one was a little busted up. I also have a few other books to go along with that. That's why I'm kind of wanting to get into that too. I'm really trying with the Tinkerbell series. I truly am. But with this, it's a continuous story. With those ones, it's more stories, but it's also like they're all kind of flowing together. I'm still stuck on Tink North of Neverland, which I just need to push through, because with this, I read every single day, or tried to read every single day, or as like a chapter a day, which these were short chapters anyway. That's probably what I need to do, but with the Tinkerbell stuff, I feel like I would forget it more. I also have like another series I'm looking at, which I also want to watch with the show, but at the same time, I feel like if I tried to do that with the show that I'm looking at over here, it's gonna ruin it for me, but we shall see. Maybe if I like read them all, I'll probably do like a review of the TV show. I feel like I've done that before, but I don't remember. It's been a hot minute. But again, I do suggest reading the Merman, this series. It is a good time. Every book, they have a sex scene. It's very creative with the world building, even though it is just ours and then like people that live underwater. I do love the backstory, and I do love the suspense of it. But regardless, I will come back with whatever other thing I have going on. Maybe it'll be October and I'll have a movie review. Maybe it'll be Christmas. I'll have a Christmas review, because I have a whole bunch of these books still to read. Just looking at it makes me so stressed, because it's like 5 versus 26 books. Like, that's stressful, but at the same time, doing all right. So I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.